Hey, good morning, listeners and viewers. I'm hoping that Jimmy, could you hear us talking? Drop it in the chat. Could you hear us talking? Because we were having a very
No, we weren't talking about anything.
brilliant. Yeah, that I
Excellent.
just realised that you should always have an air of caution. Anyway, I'm very delighted to be together here, Jeff, live from Newcastle.
Yep, and each week we'll try and bring you some news, views, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business. We can help.
We can help. We can help. It's it's interesting times. It's we're here where it's just nice to see you, Jeff. To see you,
it's nice to get out, and obviously Spice FM and show business started all those years ago when we used to do that weekly kind of routine into the what would you call it, into the studios, right? And my goodness, that was so interesting, because the studio that we had at the beginning when you're going up those steps, and
it was.
Yeah.
So it's actually Spice FM's 17th anniversary.
Is that what it is?
17th.
Really?
It's coming of age.
Wow.
How brilliant is that?
Amazing. I mean, but I'm presuming that the Spice FM, the underground one, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that. That's probably been there.
Ever an underground
That's
one.
been there for probably longer, though. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a long time. It's kudos to Sandeep and the team for really being able to have the tenacity during all those difficult moments to kind of hold it together, and I guess it's flown because of having that mentality during those difficult times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is very interesting how if you look back 17 years, right? If you looked back and said 17 years ago, setting up a radio station, Spice FM, it would have only have been FM. If it wasn't until the move to the Beacon, where they managed to get a big a big aerial on the roof of the Beacon.
Okay, and is that what you need still?
Yeah. I think you still need an aerial.
Aerials.
Yeah, you still need an aerial. Remember aerials?
Oh man, I don't see many aerials these days anymore. Is everything not done via?
You don't see aerials?
Well, it's all done through wires and connections.
Amplification. Yeah, it's all amplified technology. So historically, aerials required a signal. So you'd have, there was Pontop Pike, wasn't there? Can you remember that?
No.
So the TV had a huge aerial up at Pontop Pike. I'm sure that was a thing. I'm sure it was called Pontop Pike. Anyway, it was a local thing. Let's do a Google search on this. Pontop Pike. I might have made that up. Pontop Pike aerial.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm just listening to that headline there. Dire economic situation means that Rachel Reeves may increase taxes. Did I read that correct?
Yes.
Is she having an actual laugh?
What?
Pontop Pike. That's just crazy.
Pontop Pike.
Right.
Pontop Pike is what it is. Yeah. Pontop Pike is.
What a name that is.
Pontop Pike.
It's awful. It's an awful name.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's not rolling off the tongue though, is it? Because Pontop Pipe. I mean,
Pontop.
No, it's terrible. That's a terrible name. Whatever.
Anyway,
whatever it is.
I didn't name it. So, I didn't name it, but Anyway, the reason why I mentioned it is I just recall as a kid. I can't recall it. I can't recall it in the last however long. But as a kid, the aerial for transmitting TV was here at Pontop Pike.
And what? That's an actual area.
Pontop Pike is the name of a place.
Really?
Yeah. The symbol shows the location of Pontop Pike transmitter, which serves 700,000 homes.
Wow.
So talk about Roger irrelevant. My memories, I'd be great at a quiz, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you will be. You've got like good.
Roger irrelevant information. Anyway, it's still operating by the looks of things. So Pontop Pike, big aerial on the top of a hill in Durham.
Right? 700,000 people in the region.
Yeah, and it shows you where it's serving. And then you'd have an aerial in the back of your telly.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so the aerial would be on the back of your telly, and if you were rich, you actually had an aerial outside your house.
Yeah, the silver one.
Well, they still exist now.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying, if you were rich, you'd have it on the outside of your wall, and it would be done professionally. If you were like us, you'd have one on the top of your telly that you'd wiggle around.
Yeah.
You'd try and get a signal and bang the top of the telly as the lines started going up and down and whatever it was just anyway. So congratulations, happy birthday, Spice FM.
Yes, happy birthday! Done an amazing 17 years.
Congratulations, to everyone. Congratulations to everyone. So the let's bring up our whatever I can technical stuff.
I want to talk about Rachel Reeves because I'm actually flabbergasted at what I've just seen on Google just now.
What?
On that tax increases, Amar?
The economy is in such a dire state.
Well, and she thinks that taking more money off the people is going to be the solution.
They're either going to have to reduce, it's a matter of fact, that they're either going to have to put more public spending, right, because of the decisions that she's made, sadly, that, allegedly, that, whatever you want to call it, anyway, top and bottom of it is, the likelihood is that there are going to be issues. So let's just briefly talk about this, Jeff. You can read this a little bit more, but in essence, the Bank of England cuts interest rates, which is good.
What, from 4.25
to 4?
Okay.
The Bank of England cut interest rates to 4%, as it said that Rachel Reeves' tax rate was driving up prices in shops. So the cost, we were talking about your costs. Look at the impact of your costs.
The cost increases that every single business is facing.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking to other friends, colleagues, peers in the industry, I think it's come to the point where actually the accountants are telling us that, look, you cannot make money. And we've asked them because nothing is, all the walls are caving in that the utility bills have gone up ridiculously. The any concessions that they had, for example, on business rates, slowly they're going away. So it adds a few K on your yearly expenses. Any purchases that anyone has, whether it be packaging or whether it be food or whether it be chemicals, whether it be kind of food or uniform, every single cost in every single sector has gone up. So then the only way out of that you have to then, according to the percentage increase that you face, if you think about it logically from a basic accounting perspective, and that's not my strong point, but you have to put your prices up accordingly. That's the only way to balance it all out. Now, everyone's fearing putting those prices up, because if you are going to, and if you had to go to a restaurant and you had to pay £20 for a curry and £8 for a rice, those businesses, the public are not ready to do that kind of
absorb that.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. So what do you do is the question. And I think if you have just understand the trends in retail, for example. I mean, remember the time when the retail sales used to be in the December was the big sales, not even December, it was a January sales, wasn't it? So they kept that discipline. They might have had a summer sale and they had a January sale.
Yeah.
But in between, there was no sales. Everything was full price.
Yeah, everything for the period of time.
Yes. So then it was like this big thing. Oh yeah, in January, after you spent your money on Christmas, you bought the presents. So the retailers don't want you to have those discounted presents during Christmas. We're gonna kind of whatever's left, we're gonna have big sales in January, and everyone went up for the January sales to get some value. But if you think about it now, every single outlet is gonna have constant sales promotions. It's like just a constant thing. So I think it's because the perceived value in the minds of the public, they really need to feel as though they're getting something of value because they feel a little bit better about it, or I've got a little discount on this. But the fact is, all the retailers have just done simply is they've put the prices up ridiculously. I mean, I was just went to Bicester Village.
Yeah.
I can't believe if you go and have a look at the designer shop, maybe you can afford it, Amar, but I can't afford it. 1,500 bloody quid. That's some of 1,500 quid for a shirt, right? And then there's that. Oh yeah, it's 50% off, and it's what 750 quid. I'm laughing at myself, thinking that this is just kind of exactly what what I've just been saying. You put the shirt up so ridiculous, and then you think that, and
it's a discount.
But Amar, it's come to the point though where the prices have gone up so much, and even when you look at the discount, you think, well, this is a disgrace. It's not a discount, and I think people are starting to see through that. Is my point.
Right.
Do you feel that people are realizing now that the prices have been hiked and the discount is actually it's a perceived value in my mind, but the reality is the real cost of that item is still ridiculously high. And what happens when? So the question is, what happens when the public see through these discounts and they just simply won't buy items on that discounted rate? Because I think that's what retail and a lot of sectors are surviving on that.
I think part of the biggest issue is the cost of everything's gone up, right? And whilst never mind £750 shirt, a £75 shirt, I would struggle with justifying, right? It's the haves and the have-nots have increased, haven't they? That's you're saying actually people are waking up to whatever it is, but I'm noticing that those with money, I mean like proper money, right? And those that have made fast cash through however it is, through whatever industry, are sat with lots of money.
But that percentage, Amal, when you're talking about the haves, if you were to define that from a percentage, I bet you that percentage is a lot smaller. So there's our friend. Have you just seen her?
Who's our friend?
Rushnara.
Rushnara, yeah.
The MP.
Well, everyone's just look.
But what's she done wrong? What's she done wrong?
Everything. Anyway, we need to be Ofcom regulated. We need to be very careful. Allegedly, but I don't see the same levels of moral ethics in any leadership that I used to see.
No,
right?
It's all gone.
It's like whether you're talking about presidents, whether you're talking about politicians, whether you're talking about religious leaders, whether you're talking about, sadly, the moral fabric of society is
in the trash bin.
It's mad.
It's horrible. It's what society was built on. I mean, when you think about the London, and when we were talking about London, and if you go to the London Museum, and if you look at London, how the city grew.
Yeah,
it grew because every community. How many churches are there in London, Amar? They're so close proximity to each other because it was the hub of every single community. That was what was holding the community together, and
well, it's a great point. I mean, actually, one of the most condensed space and place from a general knowledge statistic perspective was Heaton Road.
Right.
Heaton Road in Newcastle had the most number of churches in a space than a number of other areas and places. But you're absolutely right. I mean, in London, in central London, every single space, corner, wherever it was all built around churches, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the fabric of society. And we've said this, right? Because I can't speak on Just behalf, but I am a firm believer in people having faith, right? I'm not uncomfortable with anybody having any faith, as long as they've got some faith, right? A sense of belief. There's a God, and there's right, and there's wrong, and you should treat your neighbours and your whatever in a particular way. It's just and because of that lost soul, the over the years, churches have seen a decline. That I'm glad to say is they're starting to see an increase in people coming back to the church, which is, arguably a great thing, isn't it?
I think it's a good thing, but I don't know if we've gone a bit
too far
the other way.
Yeah, we have gone. Possibly. I was going to do a quick, because it's always useful to illustrate some of the points that we make.
So, Amma, you do that. Whilst you're doing that, my gut instincts with just speaking to people, I feel that you had the working class, you had the middle class, and then you had kind of the 1%, the top kind of the big industry, kind of super rich. So I would have thought that the middle class is getting totally squeezed, where they are, maybe they might think that the middle class, but the monies that they have, the earnings that they have, and the lifestyle that they're able to lead now is more working class. So that middle class has been significantly kind of hit. Is that what's your stats saying?
Yeah, I think. Well, look, I think the divide between haves and have-nots has increased incredibly, right? So you're right. People in the middle are either going down or they're coming up.
Yeah.
Right. The middle isn't the middle class in the way that it was historically defined. And curiously, right, so all of these people with their pitchforks who are out and about complaining about people with money and whatever it is. Let me give you this statistic. So group 1% of all income tax payers, so 1%, the top 1% of the people who pay income tax, 26.6% of tax in this country.
Right.
So 1% contribute a quarter of all of the taxes in this country. They pay for all of the structure, infrastructure, and everything else. The next top 10% of all income taxpayers, they contribute over 60%. Right? And imagine as a consequence of the tax regimes and all of the changes from a chancellor perspective, our top whatever percent are leaving this country in droves, right? So imagine, even if 5% of the top 10% leave, that means we've lost 30% of the tax collected. What a short-term, naive reaction to policy.
I would disagree in terms of the naivety. I think it's planned because you can't be that stupid. You can't be the Chancellor of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, holding one of the most important seats in the highest office, and be that.
No, you can't say that. You can't.
No, I don't.
I think that's wrong. Anyway, it's you can't share.
No, I'm not sharing anything. You can't be that stupid. I mean, surely you cannot. You've got like.
Oh, that's a statement rather than an allegation.
You've got all those people sat around you, Omar. You're supposed to be surrounded by the best minds because it's the highest office. So surely, when they're presenting you with what to do, I'm surely they've done some due diligence and they've said that if you go with this policy, this is the impact. Go with this policy, this is the impact. And someone's done all that work, haven't they? Yeah. And they're presenting it to the Chancellor for her to make that final judgment. And that final judgment that she's making based on what's coming to her is completely misrepresenting what the reality is on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't believe the statistics. And I say to all of my team members, I said, look, can you engage with every single guest, whether it be the supplier, whether it be our associates, whether it be people that we communicate with across the board. We do business with people in other countries from Spain to China, A, B, C, and D. Communicate and talk and gather information, because I want you to understand that is the true reality of what's happening on the ground. Everything that we see that, inflation is 3%. It's not 3%. Inflation is at least 20%. And there's and I sent my team a graph which demonstrated why it's 20%, because it depends where you take the inflation from. Is it on year, or are you taking it with the right things from the right period? And our real life experience on inflation is that it is around about that 20% mark. So if they're telling us, we're trying to read somewhere in the news that it's 3.4%, no, that's not the true reality. So the middle ground is getting hit, and you're 100% you're correct that there are so many good, wealthy people, patriots that love Britain, that are just so bewildered by it that they are leaving. And I think that is very sad. It's really, really sad for the country, because why should we lose those real intelligent people that make that difference to society? And someone else benefits from their nous, their intelligence, their bravery.
It's just mad. It just seems crazy that anyway, who are we? I think Jaff is the new Chancellor.
If I was the new Chancellor, do you know what I would do?
What would you do?
I'd get rid of all taxes. 0. And then everyone go out on a spending spree. Why is Dubai and other countries so successful? You don't need the taxes. 0 taxes. Go out and spend in the country. Make it so appealing to other parts.
So if there was no taxes, what would happen with our health, police, everything else?
Well, they would privatize it. I think it would be better, because
not really. If you look at the likes of, if you look at all contracts that have been given to private providers,
how much wastage is there, man? If it was privatized and it wasn't the government, if it wasn't people in the do you call them the boffs? What do you call them? In the councils that just, they're so inefficient. They're so inefficient. They're given contracts to, if there was real individuals that looked at it like it's their business and looked after every single pence, imagine how much millions of pounds you're going to save across the board. When I say privatize, you're paying no taxes. This is the schemes for us to maintain our hospitals. You need to go into insurance ABC. You're paying it anyway. But it's just that we're paying taxes, but we're not benefiting. We should be able to pick and choose that, okay, I want to put my money and my efforts into this particular insurance policy, which guarantees me great health. Okay. And that could be £10 a week, right? That's whatever it is. £1,000 a year, £2,000 a year, but at least it's specifically going into a particular pot where we can then benefit from. The taxes that we pay, huge amounts of it, we don't know where it goes and what's the benefit. Is there a benefit when I can't get a doctor's appointment for 6 weeks? So where's that money going to? It's going to it's going to wars, and it's going for weapons, and it's going to this, and this, and it's going to fund millions of pounds. You give it to Ukraine, you do this, that, and the other, and it's all going to the wrong places where the real benefit to the real people is not there. So why are the GCC countries, how do they manage without taxes? Have you seen this? Have you seen how the infrastructure that they have? Have you been on their like metro and the way that the malls are and how clean the streets are, how low the crime is? I mean, for us, the greatest nation on the friggin' planet, United Kingdom, it's just such a sad state of affairs because it's the most amazing country. The infrastructure, the seasons, the people, the history, the opportunities. And just because of poor management and taxation and other things, it's becoming so much more difficult. And it's so sad to see all those good people think about leaving the country. And they do need to halt that. They need to stop it. They need to do something drastic more to say that, right, yes, we've got it wrong. From now on, we're doing this. We want to make the UK like I'm not saying what Trump's doing is right or it's wrong. He's a bit mad, but he is like focused on, well, from a trade perspective, is he not wholly focused on America and what's best for America and what's best for American companies and what's best for American people? Don't think that our leaders are thinking quite
in a similar way. Yeah, well, there's a protectionism type of thing, and yeah. Do we agree with what he's doing? Yeah, I think. Anyway, allegedly,
we probably don't.
Well, there's certain parts that I do. There's certain parts that I do, and actually, the same goes with pretty much every political party. There are certain things that I think, oh well, that sounds like a good idea. The thing is because he's the most powerful man in the world and is, according to numerous sources, allegedly bullying the world, and he is. There is no question about that allegation, allegedly.
Look, man, you can say allegedly. I can say that Trump is an absolute bloody nutcase, but he is the president.
I didn't say that, Mr. President.
He is the president.
I want to go to the White House. I actually want to go and stay there.
Oh, but that's all
right, okay. Well, you can't sit here. Do you realize? So I didn't know this. Be careful what you say and do, right? I did not know this, right? And here is something that everybody needs to consider. Everybody needs to consider. Now, as part of your ASTA, your visa to get into the US, you are required to provide your Facebook, your LinkedIn, all of your social media. Now imagine, and there have been real examples of this, right? There are real examples of people like Jaff, calling my good friend, President Trump, and not being allowed in.
Yeah, but that's because like America's like the free world, isn't it?
Was that
you're free to you're like the so-called free world where you're supposed to be free to say what you want, but then where's the freedom? You know what? Isn't that isn't that the First Amendment? It's not
outrageous. What's going on?
The First
Amendment. Control. Like what amendments? They were just amendments, is what they were. Is what they were. Anyway, the point around this is, right, and the biggest challenge here is America's taking the protectionist lead, and the world is kowtowing, right? And on one hand, it's like sort of the stick, the other, it's a carrot, and it's a really peculiar relationship because it almost feels a bit like schizophrenia, doesn't it? On one hand, it's like, hey, on the other, it's like, it was a brilliant analogy that I heard on the radio this morning. It was like, what was it again? Oh, yeah, it was a great wedding, right? It was a great wedding. The mother-in-law lost 3 teeth. The bride had a black eye, and the father-in-law fractured his leg. But it was a great wedding, right? Because I thought, isn't that a funny analogy, right? Because that's how some of these relationships are playing out. So the reference to this was apparently, and I haven't seen this, and I've been like neck deep in work. This was allegedly all to do with Russia, right? Because he had a meeting with President Putin, and came out. Oh, it's gone really, really well. And then on the other hand, started increasing. So he's increased tariffs to India to 50% because they're buying Russian oil.
Yeah. Well, what's that? It's ridiculous. And the Indians have turned around and said, "Hey, man, it's up to us where we get our oil from. It's up to us who our trading partners are." I mean, but America has done that. Bullies all the country, but you're not going to bully India now, are you?
No, not the fastest growing economy with the most amount of people.
Yeah, they're not bothered. You're not going to bully India.
Yeah, it's like, and here's the challenge. India and all of these type of spaces and places do in fact provide a lot more. Is what they do. So it's like interesting. Is what it is. So coming back to stories, so Jamie's kindly pulled a thing together. Let's just quickly rattle through these. Let's push this button and share. Business topic of the week. Yeah, customers. Why every small business needs a website. It is. We've touched upon this, haven't we, Jeff? As in, whether you're a startup, people. It's about trust and credibility, isn't it?
It is, and I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If you've got an email address, it can't be, I don't know,
Gmail or iCloud or whatever.
Hot 67,
Gosh, do you know hers?
Nicehair.com.
Do you know hers?
And I remember getting emails and we're trying to do business with somebody, and they have some peculiar email addresses, and you just lose the credibility and trust immediately. Yeah. So think about the name very, very carefully. Think about it's so important because that is what it gives you the credibility. It tells people what type of business you are, what space that you're going to operate. Are you operating in the kind of mid sector, the economy sector, or the premium sector? So you've got to think about all those things very carefully, and then lock it down to begin with with a professional looking website, professional domain names, and A, B, C, and D.
Yeah, and just, I mean, very, very briefly, it gives you control for your story. So social media platforms are great for updates, but they're limited. Your website gives you control over how your brand is presented. It's the one place where you can showcase your services, tell your story, add testimonials, and guide people exactly where you want them to go. It's always open for business. A website doesn't have working hours, whether it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. It's there to showcase your business, answer questions, and convert interest into leads or sales. Even when you're not working, your website is. It helps you get found on Google. If someone searches dog groomer in Newcastle or affordable virtual office UK, you don't have a website, you're not going to appear in results. A basic, well-optimized website improves your chances of being found when people are actively searching for what you offer. And it doesn't have to cost a fortune. Many business owners assume websites are expensive, but that's no longer true. There are affordable professional options that cater to startups and SMEs. In fact, at the SME Centre of Excellence, they design websites specifically for growing businesses that want to get online quickly without breaking the bank. And they can do everything for you. Anyway, if you need help getting started, reach out to the SME Centre of Excellence. They're great. ABC Awards, we've got it's back on the 9th of October. Jamie, you've got this wrong. Anyway, it's I'm relatively certain they're on the 9th of October. And nominations are still open until the end of this month. Brilliant event. Got Tommy Sandu coming again. We've got some extraordinary entertainment. We've got a kabaddi demonstration going on. There's some brilliant stuff all happening. Headlines: 1 in 10 businesses lose staff over office return demands. The British Chamber of Commerce finds.
What does that mean, Amal?
So that means that almost 1 in 10 UK businesses lost staff in the past year after removing remote work options, according to a survey, while 48% employers now expect full-time office returns within a year. I think people need to get back to work.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Of course. I mean, it's so inefficient being at home. It's convenient.
Is it convenient?
Well, it's convenient for them.
My wife doesn't like it.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people that do like it because they're just sitting chilling.
Yeah. But you just get distracted. Yeah. I'd be like doing stuff. Oh, there was that to do.
If you think about it, in London and stuff, 7 million population, the capital. By the time they commute, it's like a 1 hour commute a day, one way, another hour commute. That's 2 hours, and I think that's one of the things that, when you consider those things, then I can understand it from that. It's part of your life. It's part of your experience, and but then to do it every day in, day out, my God, it must be difficult. So there are circumstances such as that where people 100% they prefer to work at home, but it's not.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like, imagine. Oh, actually, hi, I know you're in a restaurant, but can I work from home? Anyway, yeah. Interesting times. We've already mentioned Bank of England is expected to cut interest rates. Well, they have. Amid weakening UK economy, it's not what Rachel Reeves was expecting. Starmer refuses to rule out tax hikes.
I think it's crazy.
As economists warn of 50 billion fiscal black hole. I think what we should be doing is empowering entrepreneurs, businesses, right? We should just, whilst I don't necessarily agree with there should be no taxes, I definitely think we should be considering how do we encourage people to spend and how do we put more money in people's pockets? Because at the minute, neither is happening. People have lost more and people are spending less.
It's a terrifying situation. I think the consequences of tax hikes, I mean, I don't know what they're thinking, but what have they got? Which areas can they go and tackle now that they haven't done in the last 1 year, last 2 years, whatever it may be? I mean, they've smashed up every single area that you could possibly imagine. So what they're going to do, are they going to increase VAT to 25% or something? Are they going to hit us more on income taxes? Are they going to hit us more with NI? I mean, what are they going to do? Because those changes that they've done, they have been absolutely horrendous. Especially the NI changes that they've done that's added about 20% on the labour costs for most businesses, which is like huge.
I know so many businesses that have just gone, we can't afford to operate anymore.
Yeah. So it's very, very worrying. Let's hope that, I don't know if there's any of the bodies have any power. Like, I know that you were members of a number of different organizations, director of Institute of Directors and Small Federation of Small Businesses, and I just feel as though that they don't have any type of power or any type
Well,
of
it's just
say.
interesting, right? Here's the thing that I've found, and it's, am I speaking out of turn? I don't think so. I don't do that. But the thing that I have noted and noticed is some of the organisations that are dependent upon fund. So, let me give you an example. There's a number of businesses in Newcastle who won't say anything against the public authorities,
Yeah.
right? Why? Despite them having a grievance. Why? Because they deliver services on their behalf.
And they're probably giving them the money for them to fund them to
right?
survive and operate.
And there's a lot of that, including sadly, with certain trade bodies and everything else. So there is always going to be a tempered response. So sadly, like 90% of the unrepresentative business community, right, are sat there facing all of the issues. Yes, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of the bodies you've mentioned and we are members of do and try and do certain things. Should we do more? Absolutely. I just feel as if we need to be supporting entrepreneurs. We should be supporting business owners, those who are propping up the economy, right? Rather than the £500 million, let's support that company there because it's got a few hundred jobs that we're going to save. Look, if you spend that more effectively, if you supported supply chain and encouraged more people and more activity, we were joking about Business Link, Jeff, right? Imagine the support that you could and should have got. If your business right here now, do you have an opportunity to bring some staff on? Do you have an opportunity to actually deliver more goods or services in a better way? Well, here's £25,000, right? Here's £25,000, not just cash, not just like that, but on the back of a growth plan. If we give you £25,000, is there something that you could do? And the same thing with entrepreneurs and people who are setting up businesses, and in particular, scale up businesses, those who are already growing, things like Jaff, right? Imagine if the government said, you know what, Jaff, we're going to invest in you. We're going to give you £500,000 to open your next place, create more jobs. Imagine the value you would bring by doing that.
Of course, but there's been nothing like that. Everything's against that. I mean, you want to open something. Number one, it would be crazy for people to, it would be crazy for me to ever consider opening another restaurant. It would be the most stupidest decision, because by the time you spend money on a fit out of a restaurant or whatever business it may be, especially, and again, the costs of fitting out is so big, and it's so big. And it's, if you think about that development that was supposed to happen below the glass house or next to the glass house, the new arena, they had priced it and it was ready to go, and they're about to sign it off. There was a delay in signing it off for certain planning reasons, I think it was. So they didn't sign off.
The investment's gone,
and it was ready. No, it was they were waiting. So then when they're ready to sign it off, it was about 6 months late. The cost of that particular development, when they might have said, "Oh, these prices stay for 6 months."
6 months,
That they'd gone past that period, so they had to get those costs priced again, and it went up so ridiculously that they didn't have the budget to do it. And that's why a place like that, which would have been massive for the city,
all of those things,
it's just not happening.
All of those things, all of the biggest announcements that were, there's Crown Works, this big, they've already invested 25 million. The government said 125 million. Nothing's happening.
Where's that at?
In Sunderland.
Okay.
And it was the company that was meant to invest was pulled out, right? And all of a sudden, it's like egg on your face type of thing, and it's all of these decisions, all of the decisions. We've spent billions of pounds on HS2, billions of pounds. They built, I was in Saudi, they built an airline and an airport in 3 months.
Yeah. it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I think you feel as though that there is no support. If you open something, the economy is so flat, the risk of making any type of new business venture work, unless it's in technology or whatever it may be, a real physical space to make those work, whatever industry it may be, the risks are absolutely huge at this moment in time. I don't think the bank's ever going to borrow money to physical. I don't know. I don't know if you hear about who the banks borrow to these days, but they haven't borrowed to hospitality for many, many, many years. I think hospitality growth is just done organically, but it's certainly not done via bank borrowing. So, do the banks borrow anymore? I don't know. And if so, then who do they borrow to? I mean, probably when they can leverage that borrowing and they've got that security in physical kind of leases or kind of rights over properties and stuff. So very, very challenging. I think just don't have any confidence in a Labour government who's historically they've never been good for business anyway. They just haven't been happening historically. Historically, you always felt that. I mean, speaking to peers in the industry, they always said that the Conservatives were supposed to be better for business. Not that the last Conservative government was. I mean, over the last kind of decade or decade and a half, regardless of who the government's in power, I think they've all got the same kind of plan, haven't they? It's as though there's like a wider kind of group that's telling the governments, yeah, stick to the plan because this is where we need to get to. Because it doesn't make sense that how all governments go down the same trajectory, all about, increasing taxes as a constant. I mean, where does that lead to? That what, you're going to put the taxes up to 80% or something? That no one's got any money because everything just goes to the government. It doesn't.
Well, everyone will just leave.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
And obviously they're beginning to do so, and more people will probably realize that, do you know what? I can have a better life. As beautiful and as amazing as Britain is, I can have a better life for my family elsewhere. And that's very, very sad. It's a very sad situation. I don't think there's a lot of people that can't just pick up and go. It's not that easy when you want to make, move from one country to another country. I don't know what the rules and laws are to do it and how easy or not easy that is, but obviously a lot of people are doing it.
Well, I mean, look, if you can afford to go, people are going. But actually, there's a number of examples where people probably can't afford to go and they're still going because they'd rather go and make their money elsewhere, for a number of reasons. I mean, the other thing that we haven't even touched upon, Jeff, is the division in our country.
Yeah.
It's incredibly sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I just feel again, the division is, I think it's fueled by media, because, I mean, there's a lot of issues, immigration-wise and stuff, but I still feel, especially in Newcastle, that there is humanity always will overcome division because people have got good souls.
Yeah, power to you.
Especially in Newcastle, people have got good hearts and good souls. Yeah. And overall, and you might have windows and pockets within that where a few individuals that act kind of on their own accord against that grain. But overall, I don't know, when I'm walking the streets, I don't see anything. I see Newcastle changing a lot. There's a lot more. Remember, about 10, 20 years ago, when we used to walk around the streets and stuff, there was barely any kind of people of ethnic minority population was very, very small. And in some ways, it was actually nice. When you look at it now, when you walk through Northumberland Street or Grey Street, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how it's changed so much.
Dramatically,
and it's changed so quickly, and it's a bit worrying as to who these people are coming into the country, and have they been vetted, have they been checked, are they adding value to the country, all of those things, and there's a lot of issues on that regard.
Yeah, there's a big difference though, Jeff, between migrants and refugees, right? And we need to try and understand the difference. And it is. I mean, look, right? You're in Palestine, you're in Jordan, you're in Syria, you're wherever you are, and everyone and everything around you is getting killed, right? Everything's getting destroyed. You've got nothing there whatsoever, and the likelihood is you're just going to either die of starvation or you're just going to get shot.
Yeah.
Right? What would you do?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And anything you could, wouldn't you?
So imagine
you would travel. Yeah. You'd go across shark infested waters. You'd you'd do whatever.
Yeah.
Because actually, England, the UK is somewhere where you're guaranteed to get fed. Right? You're going to get fed, aren't you? You're guaranteed a bed. You're guaranteed to get fed, rightly or wrongly. So consequently, that's where you're going to head to. Anywhere else, those things aren't available to you.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, put it in context, Omar. Like, let's say that you've got your house and it's just been blown up. It's not like the insurance company's going to exactly pay for your blown up house, are they? There's probably no insurance companies exist. So what are you going to do? Your bank accounts, like, is there any money in your bank? Do they have bank accounts? You don't know.
Well, even if they did, the bank would just close the account, wouldn't it?
So you've kind of you got to leave with nothing. You could have been someone who was reasonably established. You could have been in business. You could be a doctor. You could be a solicitor. And all of a sudden, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many horrific stories and situations that obviously we don't always understand and take the time to understand people's difficulties. And I guess in that context, we should consider ourselves to be very lucky.
Oh, we should be very lucky. It's hard. It's incredibly hard. Anyway, football, Jeff.
Oh man, I mean, it's been tragic,
Right?
It's just hard. So if you think about the last game of this season, I was going to actually call up one or two of the radio stations, right? Think about the last game of the season. We got in the Champions League. It was a sigh of relief that we managed to scrape in there.
Luckily. So,
we were in Champions League. Cheer. Well, it wasn't luck, because at the end of the day, the league doesn't lie. It was over 38 games. We got there in 5th position, right? In the Champions League. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, thank goodness. This is the year where we're going to have an amazing transfer window and we're going to actually get closer genuinely to the top 4, 5, 6 teams, because we've been winging it because Eddie's been so good. We haven't had any players in 3 windows and he's just done such a miraculous job. He's kept us up there. And now we're going to solidify that with having some real kind of solid players add to the mix, make the team, propel the team to go and challenge genuinely with the top teams.
30 seconds.
And I didn't fathom that it would be the nightmare that we're having at the moment. We've had about 8, 9 players that have rejected us. We don't have a CEO. We don't have a sporting director. We have got our best player, Alexander Isak. He's agitated. He wants to leave. He wants to leave. Now, at this stage, under no circumstances can they let him go.
No,
they have to say, I'm sorry, you've got a 3-year contract. We're going to give you a new deal. There you go. It's on the table. We're not going to let you go to Liverpool. We will allow you to leave end of next year. We've put this. We'll put a clause in where there's a buyout clause. People can pay you 110 million. You can